Everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I'm going to be doing a project today featuring Regency Park, which is the suite that we will be working from this month in my online card club. So in just a second, I'll explain a little bit more about that and about the project that I'm doing today. It isn't one of our card club projects, but it's something that the girls that are in it will be able to do if they choose to. But before I get going, I'm going to show you these two projects because there is so much going on in February. I have some really cool thank you gifts this month. I have a raffle drawing going on through the 1st to the 5th of February if you purchase from my website. And then Stampin' Up! Has a bunch of new celebration choices that are good in February, as well as the other ones that they already had. Nothing has sold out so far. We have a 35 Ways to Celebrate Stampin' Up! Event coming up in March, and registration will open any day now. It could be today, it could be tomorrow. There's 4 of us putting it on, and so we have to get all the registration. It's 90% there. We just need like the links and the actual registration information. But we have the space, which is fabulous. So all of that. But I don't want to talk about it again, and especially because I just filmed those. I'm trying to get filming ahead, and when you talk to yourself, well, my cats are here, you feel like you just repeat yourself. So if you want to know all of that stuff contained at the start of these 2 videos, and it's not exactly the same in both, but you can go watch the start of those 2 and then you'll get it all. And in fact, there's different information in the 2 of them. But this is the beautiful thistle. I colored this in with Stella and ink pads. And then this is one of the new celebration papers, which is a paper that is in the January to April mini catalog. And this is one of the new suites. In fact, I had toyed around with using it for Card Club, which I'm glad I didn't, because there's a chance it could be gone. And I'd hate to pay for it when they're offering it for free. So you can go watch those 2 videos they just posted and find out all of the February information. And then this is our first project for Card Club. This video is also up. This will give you complete information, I think. I never watch the videos back because, you know, if you're like me, it's not fun to watch yourself back or hear your voice. But this is the first project. So the way my online card club works is it's a subscription service. I do it through PayPal subscriptions. I may be changing that in the upcoming, not too distant future. Sometimes PayPal can be, they can be weird. And now they're probably listening in on this conversation and pairing up with YouTube. So I'm looking into some other options. I just hate it that I'd have to have all of you that are already in it switch. But sometimes they're not nice, PayPal. And sometimes they're not nice to me, even though I generate them huge amounts of money. And they take huge amounts of my money. So, but for now, it's very safe and it's very secure. So that's why I use it. You sign up, and then if you sign up on the 8th, then on the 8th it's about 30 days. So sometimes, you know, February will mess us up. But they just take your $38, and it's just $38. It's the lowest online class that I offer where you get product. And every month, you usually get half a pack of paper. This month, they're getting a half a pack of the Regency Park 6x6 paper. Most months, you get a full spool of ribbon. This month, they're getting a full pack of the Night of Navy bordered ribbon. And most months, they get a full pack of embellishments. And this month, they are getting the what are these called? Adhesive back Milky Dots. You would think I'd remember the Milky. It came to me in time to say it. And then they get the supplies to make 6 projects. We do 3 designs. They do 2 of each. They can do all 6 as is, or they can save some of the the supplies, because every 3 months we Zoom together and I take the leftovers from each of them and I mix them up. So this month will be mixed with December and with January, and we will come up with new creations with those. So that's always fun. So you can do it either or. You have lots of leftovers, and they get 6 envelopes. I encourage them to put lots of embellishments to use up their ribbon. I want them to use the stuff to learn new things and I always do alternates. So what I'm doing today is an alternate. but it's a little bit of a twist on the alternate. I'm going to use the stamp set, and they don't have to buy the stamp set because obviously they may have flowers that work. If we do a shell set, they may already have a shell set, but the stamp sets that I offer, I pay the shipping and handling and tax every month on that. So if they want it, they just have an optional add-on. So the subscription comes out, and then I send links. Well, it's on their club page, and then they can get that if they want. Because it's Celebration, they can add on some additional things. You do not have to have a die cut machine. Anything that needs to be die cut or put through a folder, I've already done for you. But you can add the bundle if you want it for the use in the future. So today I'm going to use the dies. So for example, when they get this and you watch it in the video, this is already die cut and this is already die cut. So we limit the number of die cuts just because there's a lot of people in my club, and so it's a lot of die cutting. So the card I'm going to do today would not be one that they do in club, but I wanted to show the girls that are getting it, or if they're still tossing around, whether or not they're going to get it, how many dies they do get in this if they get it. Then there's, this is a super sweet. You can see it on page 31 of the catalog. There's some cute samples in here, but it has 2 stamp sets. This is the one I'm using today, the Sentimental Park, and Petal Park was on my table, and I had told you that it was upcoming, but I also had the Beautiful Thistle, and so I went ahead and put it first, and then, oh, all the new Celebration stuff. So things have kind of gotten pushed to the side. I'm going to work on this next, so it will show up, and then I will do my true alternate, which is where I take the stuff that they get, the consumables, and I'll use a different stamp set, a totally different kind. So if you're in club, be watching for an email, because when I sent the original and you got to pick your Celebration things, I didn't know there was going to be new stuff, so I'm going to have to kind of tweak it up a little bit. And I also am going to let you add the folder if you want to, and I'm going to use the folder on this card. So let's get going on this. It's a really pretty card. So they get a half a pack of paper. Here's the paper. It's really pretty. The colors are just springy, and it's sunny here today, and my cats are so happy. We haven't had a full sunshiny day in weeks. At least I don't remember. Sometimes it comes out and it maybe stays for an hour or two, but we've had a really great winter. So the groundhog can, go back in this little hole, because he said it's summer. I mean, that spring is not coming. It looks like it. And my cats have laid in the sun all day. And this kind of is a happy card. So what we're going to do, let's start. I don't know what order to start in, because I kind of messed with this card, and then it didn't end up where it was in my head when I started. And in fact, the colors, I picked this piece because I really liked it. So this is where I started, was with this piece of paper. And if you watch the video with their original project, this is where I started with that card, and I didn't even use it because it didn't work at all on that. So I wanted to use this frame again because I didn't put this frame on the card. So I wanted to kind of show you how that worked. So I took this and I cut this die out of here. Here's the back, which I love this side of paper, and this will look really pretty through any of our texture folders. It'll kind of make it look like fabric. Is there a good way to get this on here where I'm not going to waste more paper? I think it'll fit here. Yep, it'll just fit, and this will leave us the biggest amounts of scrap, because I always leave these in our club, because when we zoom, those may be pieces that I end up using. Because I know sometimes they like to make these exact same cards that I did. So we'll run that through. And then I pulled out some Petal Pink. And then those I did. So there's all these outlines of flowers. I'm just going to put these on here, and then I will run them through. You don't have to watch that. So there's these in Petal Pink. And then you can see there's solid flowers. And I did all of the solids. They're a little bit hard to pick up. I want to show you all the ones I'm using so you can see all the ones that are still left in this set that I'm not using. So all of the solids. And the nice thing is they're stuck together like this, but when they come out, you'll see they're all individual flowers, but it's nice to not have all these tiny little dies. And then I have a piece of shimmer white. And that's going to be my other label. And then we have some leaves. We have the flower that cuts out the stamps. We have this that cuts out the bouquet of flowers. We have this that will do the stem that we did use on the original card. And then this that does the smaller label that's on the original card. So you have all these dies. There's a ton of dies in this set. Let me run these through. So I've run all those through. Now I have a piece of Petal Pink, and it was 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I ran it through the basket weave folder that is part of this suite. And then this is a piece of the textured shimmer paper that is also part of this suite in the white. It is 4 by 5 1/4, and it's a little bit smaller, so you can see they don't match up, but we're going to make that fit. I didn't want to do it 4 1/4 because it's a 12 by 12 piece of paper, so if you cut it 4 1/4, you're only going to get 2. So we're going to make it fit and then trim it down. But I just went ahead and did this a quarter sheet because it's a little bit easier to make it work. I want to go ahead and color this just to give it a little bit of interest. So I'm going to take the new baby little blending brush and my balmy blue. And I just have I pulled out the colors when I did the other card that are in the paper. It makes it easier for the girls in Card Club to know what colors I'm going to be using. And the colors that are in this paper are fabulous. So it's easy for me to use those colors. And I'm just going to kind of brush up and down. When you do this with blending brushes on your ink pad, make sure you have refills for them because it does kind of suck up your ink. Also make sure that if you have any of the 2021 to 2023 in colors, remember this year our catalog ends a little earlier than it has in the past because this was the year they adjusted the catalogs. So our annual catalog will end in April, and in the past, well, it used to end in June, and then they adjusted it a few years ago to end in May, and now it's going to end in April. So I won't be shocked if some of that stuff starts selling out, the cardstock and especially the refills. So check and see if you have any of those colors. I don't even remember what they are right now. Let me see if I can. I think it's like soft succulent and evergreen. So word on the street is we're having a color refresh. So some of those may end up hanging around, but if there's one you love and you don't have the refill, just get it. Oops, I don't know why I'm shutting that. And I'm going to take, remember I did this little label. See how it has that fun stitching around it out of shimmer white? So I'm going to go ahead and make this so it matches. And I shut my ink pad. I'm not sure why. Have it. I'm going to do the same thing where I just add some color to this part of it. Here. And see, now they match. It's a little bit of a different color because this shimmer white is not white and it's not vanilla, and this is white. So that makes it fun. I love to mix my neutrals. Now, if I'm going to stamp my words on here, make sure you do that before you put your words on, because if you put your words on and then you do the blending brush, you stand a good chance of smearing your words. Now, where are they? Here they are. I'm going to do these in navy, which to this point is not anywhere on. It's not in the paper, but it's in the suite, so it was laying here. And our ribbon in this suite is navy. And I wanted to use the ribbon, so I'm just going to add it this way. This says all the wonderful things you do. So it's the bottom half of our sentiment. I'm going to put it right here. And navy, and then I'm going to put the top half of our words in shaded spruce. And this says thinking of. So now it says thinking of all of the wonderful things you do. And my spruce pad needs to be re-inked, but I didn't want to do it right before I did my video. Never a good idea. I could have used a marker. It's not terrible, but it could be a little bit deeper of a spruce. Then you take this and they stick in here. So you just kind of pull up these flowers, both sides. If you watched my video where I did the mountain cards, that set, if you saw those cards when I just showed you the mountain cards and you're like, yeah, I wouldn't use those, watch that video, because that set, literally you can make a card for your 8-year-old neighbor, little boy who has a bike, or you could make it for your 88-year-old neighbor on the other side who is older and likes tea parties, because that set literally does the age span and runs the gamut of things that are in it. Isn't that pretty? That would be pretty just on this. Look, if you are running late for time, just stick it on there and you're good to go. It's a pretty set. So now I have a piece of shaded spruce, and this is cut 5.5 by 4 1/4. But it's really just to get our base going on here, because remember, these aren't going to match. And then I'm going to trim it down once it's on here. If I can find my adhesive. It is laying here, I know it. There it is. I put my card on top of it. So I'm going to start with this one because it's the bigger of the two. We'll also cut the ribbon a little bit in a corner. So this I'm going to put right here on the corner because it's the one that's the size of the cardstock. And it does, this way it won't matter right there where it's kind of overhanging, because we're just going to trim it. And then this can have that gap, so we get more of a square. And again, it doesn't matter that it's not perfect because we're going to trim it. It's just a little bit easier to not have to line it up perfectly straight when you're putting it on here. I'm going to try to get my adhesive here in those corners. And then the ribbon that comes in here is beautiful. It's a really pretty ribbon. It looks like it should be denim when you look at it in the catalog. It's not denim. It's very soft and kind of sheer looking. And I'm going to go up past the edge and just lay it straight on here. And again, this is going to help me not have to cut it perfectly. Now, I would cheat if you guys weren't watching and put it in my super duper trimmer. But I'm going to use our Stampin' Up! One, which is what I used before on the other one. So it does work. If you have a guillotine would cut it a little bit better because it's going to have a little bit more of a cut through this. I'm going to flip it upside down. See, there's the paper from the first time I did it. And I just want to put it a fraction because we're going to cut it off from all sides. But see where, I don't know if you can see it here, where none of this is straight, but we're going to make it straight this way. Easier to let the machines do it than us do it. So get that. And then every time we get a straight edge, and if it doesn't get the ribbon, then we can take our scissors at the end and fix that. So I'm just going to put the shaded spruce just over the top. Let's see, it got the ribbon, and now it gives me a guide to come to this side. And I don't mind the fray. I'd rather have it be a corner and a tiny bit frayed. There we go. Just like that. And let's get our work on our other one. You don't want to cut too much off because you don't want it to be too small on your card. Let me cut this one off that way, because my paper's stuck to it. Just here, because every time you cut about 1/8 of an inch off of a side, then when you do 2, you're getting 1/4 off, which is about what we want off of our card. These are not my sharpest scissors, but see, it gives it a pretty nice square edge on those. And now it doesn't matter if they're not exactly even. It doesn't matter because this is supposed to kind of look like a basket and kind of look like a wall. And nobody's going to care. And once we get all these flowers on here, whoever you give this to isn't going to be taking a ruler out to seeing if they're perfect. And we didn't have to worry about getting 2 pieces of paper perfect on our background. So you could just use a piece of scrap paper, like literal scrap paper. Maybe even if you use like a piece of designer series paper that you don't like back there, it would be a little bit easier to trim it down because it'd be a little less thick. Let's stick this one here. See, now you can see that blue, and we have tied the blue in, even though it's not in the paper. But now it's on our card, it's on our ribbon, and we're going to use it on our embellishments. It is back here. How pretty would that be? But I didn't choose that side. You could choose that side. Then there would be no green. Stick this here, which also helps the illusion if everything's not perfectly straight. Now I'm going to grab my liquid glue. Here's a little tip for you. Of course, I used mine and then I set everything up to film and it's oozed out because I didn't put the lid on it. Grab your Goby tip and use that. Put your glue on. And then stick those on. It's just a little bit easier of a way to pick all us. These big ones aren't hard to pick up, but the little ones can be a little tricky. You just put your flowers wherever you feel like it. Trying to see which one of these need to be flipped back over. You want to pick them up with your tacky tip right side up. So when you lay them down like this, they're glue side down. And some of mine, when I flipped them out of the die, I should have paid attention. Now, before I keep going, I am going to get the top on them because some of them you might layer, and if they're the wrong way, the layer will stick over the top. And also a couple of these, the sizes aren't exactly the same. At least I didn't find out. See, on this one, on my other one, they're close together, and so I had to move it because this was overlapping that. But I did take a couple of these and I put them on the actual flowers that are here because they also fit on this one. I'm going to make sure that all of these are knocked out. See, I didn't knock this one out. And then we'll go back over here. So I added all of those. Isn't that pretty? And now the last thing we have to do is add our embellishments. Get my lid on here. So we have the milky dots. And they come in 4 different colors, but I ended up just using the blue because the blue is beautiful. So we have the sticky tip, and then I'm using the little size fits in the centers of the big flowers, go figure. So I just added those in the middle of these. My glue's not all the way set, so kind of moving a little bit. Oh, come on. There we go. So I have those 2, and then I just took one of the big ones just to kind of use as an embellishment. Just stuck that there. And all done. A fun card. And the neat thing about this is now have a look at the papers. You can do it with any of them. You can switch it up to one of the red ones. You can do it with the stripes. You could do it with that. The yellows. You could put one of these, and I almost did it. You could take one of these pieces and put it through the folder. So the actual basket piece would look like it had it. You could, if you don't want to use the textured shimmer, take one of the stripes and use it with one of the flowers. So simple and so pretty, and a great way to use to coordinate exactly what you got in the suite and not even have to add anything else to it. And this card, and using up a lot of the pieces of scrap, you could do 10 of them and put them with envelopes and make a really great gift. So come back. I will have your alternate if you are in Card Club, and I have a couple of sets in mind. Not going to be flowers. It'll be something completely different with your alternate design, and I am going to do alternate that gives you this. For those of you, I know some of you don't have a die cut machine, so if you want to purchase this on your own and use this instead, because it does go with it. So that's what I have for you today. I'm gonna keep stamping and keep creating. I feel a little bit overwhelmed at the moment. There's a lot going on. Everybody have a great one. Bye.